Yay, and here comes my co-presenter now. All right, 1 minute, and then we're starting. Good. Hi, everyone. Can y'all hear me again?
Yes.
Hi.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for coming. Still admitting people. There's a lot of you today. I love it. Uh, with me, y'all know me. I'm Whitney Moberger, and my colleague here, Julia Frankovich.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here to talk weather.
Yes, and we're working from a remote location today, so if I have any technical difficulties, I apologize. Just like that. Hi. So Miriam, if you would please make sure that everyone who's coming to the waiting room is added. And we will go ahead and get started. We don't want to keep y'all too long today. So hopefully, where's the PowerPoint? Can y'all see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Okay, like I just said, welcome to the Water Provider Conservation Program update. So what we're going to talk about today is the intentions are introduction on the who, what, and why we're here. Julia's going to give annual weather updates. And then for those of you who are new, hopefully I can provide you with a good overview of what this program is. I won't go too in depth with it, so if you need more information later on, just get with me one-on-one and we can figure that out. A little update on what's going on with our public outreach, and then also some resources we have available to you. And then to close it out, I've asked some operators if they would like to come and share their experience with AMI, leak detection, and customer outreach. So we will go ahead and get started with idea. I always have to do this, subsidence. What does subsidence mean? The literal definition of subsidence is to sink, to fall to the bottom, or to settle. On the left, we have the exhibit, the picture of the San Jacinto Monument. That now, oh,
Harold contacted Tony's brother, a cardiologist.
everyone to mute. I'm on meeting controls here. There you go. Thank you. So we have the San Jacinto Monument in the middle. That's our famous, unfortunately famous illustration of subsidence. This is the community of Brownwood. It was a 350 model home community due to storms that came through and intensive flooding. I think it was Hurricane Alicia finally took it out in the late 80s. And so now that is actually, it's the Baytown Nature Center. So it's no longer a community. And with subsidence, so when we see the land sinking in our area, we're going to see intense increased flooding. And the picture on the right just shows the huge amount of how far the land has actually sunk. It's showing the difference here from 1915 to 2021. And in a minute, we're going to go over the areas and how much subsidence we've actually seen as well. So do you want to do this part or do you want me to?
Sure, I'm happy to.
All right, so Julia made this illustration and it's super cool. And so I can click or you can click, either way.
All right, so we just like to explain what subsidence looks like because unless you're looking at that picture, right, where you can see that sinking over time, it's hard to visualize what's actually happening underground. So what we're looking at here is a cross section of the earth, very simplified. We have our ground surface, we have our soil, and then here in blue, this is the saturated soil or what we call groundwater. This white here represents a water well, which basically just a straw we've poked into the ground and that we suck water out of. And I talked about that without turning on our little splingers here.
Good reminder.
So when we're talking about groundwater, we're talking about water that fills open spaces in underground soil. So when we're talking about soil, we have these particles, and in Houston, it's going to be clays and silts that are close together. And in between those particles, in saturated soil or groundwater, is where that water is actually stored. So and one way I like to visualize this is a sponge. So when your sponge is really wet and all of those holes in there are full, and you can kind of wring it out and then you'll see more holes. So it's similar to how groundwater works. So when we have needs, we have a community here, they're pumping water out, and then let's say their needs increase and we have more development, or it's a hot summer month and we're increasing our water usage. Maybe we're taking more groundwater out of the ground than is replenished by rainfall. And when that happens, our groundwater level lowers, and that causes our soil particles to physically compact. And that's a permanent loss of water storage capacity. So even if our aquifer or our groundwater rises up again, we're never going to get back all of that storage space that was available. And that's what causes the land to sink or subside.
That was excellent.
Thank you.
I love it. So that's really good. In order to combat the problem of subsidence, in 1975, the Harris-Galveston Subsidence District was created. Pretty soon after that, in 1989, it was obvious that subsidence was occurring north and west of that area, so then we had the Fort Bend Subsidence District. They adopted their first regulatory plan in 2003, and just 2 years later, that is when we were created, the North Fort Bend Water Authority. This illustrates Area A. This is the area we're in at the Fort Bend Subsidence District. Our groundwater reduction requirements were to submit our reduction plan by 2008, which we did. We were to have a 30% reduction in groundwater usage by 2014. That was met. And we are still on track for the 60% reduction by 2027. Should I have on that?
No.
So our mission in FPWA, and very passionate about all three of these, is to provide clean surface water for our community, to conserve our resources for today and for tomorrow, and to educate the public about all the things we're doing and about subsidence and proper ways to save water. And then Matt, I think Matt's on. Matt, do you want to do a brief what's going on? He's our engineer that knows all the projects.
Yes, sorry, let me unclick all my things to.
He says it much better than me, so sir, please tell us
I see.
about our big projects.
So yeah, these are all the very large regional projects that are helping not only North Fort Bend, but the other regional water authorities and the city of Houston meet their conversion requirements and just long-term water supply. The Northeast Water Purification Plant, way over there on the east side of that picture at the kind of the southwest corner of Lake Houston, is currently being expanded from 80 million gallons a day of water treatment to 400 total. They've completed the first phase. The next phase should be done by the end of the year. That's one that all of us and all of those other regional authorities in the city of Houston are participating in. Then coming out of there, that orange line, at least the one at the top of the screen that goes from Lake Houston all the way over to North Fort Bend Water Authority, is what's called the Surface Water Supply Project. It's about 55 total miles of water line ranging from 96 inches coming out of that northeast plant to 60 there right around I-10 and 99, which is where North Fort Bend will receive some of the water, and then a 42-inch that runs just north and south, just outside of the Beltway, down to our existing Bel Air pump station. Along with those, we've been building and continue to build and will build internal transmission lines, adding roughly another 35 miles of water line to our existing transmission system. The largest of those lines being a 60-inch In fact, just bid that project, one of those two projects, a couple weeks ago. Past projects there, though, I mentioned the Bel Air pump station. We're currently expanding that in anticipation of receiving the additional water through the surface water supply project. We've got about 50 miles of internal transmission system, the largest being a 48-inch coming out of Bel Air. And then the Loose Bayou Interbasin Transfer Project, which kind of makes the whole Northeast thing and all of this stuff possible, because it's a project and it's kind of off this screen that transfers water from the Trinity River Basin to the San Jacinto River Basin. So water going from the Trinity River over to Lake Houston. It pumps it up and gets it over peak elevation through pipes, and then it goes down through channels to flow into the north end of Lake Houston. And that's complete in an operation, but it supplements the supplies that come out of Lake Conroe and spots further north for the water we need and the supply we need to get out to these water authorities.
Thank you.
You bet.
And I cannot, if anyone has any questions during this presentation, I can't see. So if you could hold on to those until the end, and we'll have a super long discussion. Next slide, please. Oh, okay. And now we're going to move into the annual weather updates by Julia Frankovich. I like to tell you all about water supply and how much we've used and what the weather is looking like, and she's the perfect person to do that.
All right, so what we're looking at here is something that the North Fork Bend's board looks at monthly. And this is our weather trends for North Fork Bend over the course of time. Just to orient everyone, because there's a lot of things going on here. Each month on the x-axis is shown for precipitation in blue and then temperature in the orange graph. The bar charts where we're seeing that bottom line and then the squares and then the top line, that's called a box and whisker plot, and it's showing us the typical ranges for our area for that month. And that's going to be showing North Fork Bend's history. So from 2006 to present, those are the typical ranges that we see for each month. And then that white line is showing us if everything was exactly average, that's where we would expect to be. The black dashed line is showing us what actually happened this year. And so it's really interesting to look at that in comparison to historical trends, so we know why we may have used more or less water than normal for that month. Looking at this here, you can see we had a fairly dry, maybe average beginning of the year spring. One interesting thing about water usage is that our winter months don't really affect water usage all that much. Typically our summer months are where we see that huge change in water usage depending on if we have more or less rainfall than normal. And so as we're going into the summer here, you can see in June we had a huge amount of rainfall for the year that really set us off on kind of a, I don't want to say like overall lower water usage, we'll see that on the next slide, but it did set us up for a better month water usage wise. July, you'll notice we kind of went down to this other extreme where we were a lot lower than we typically see. I think we all remember it was like pretty dry. Our clay soils are looking a little cracky depending on how often they get water. And then I think we all appreciated this summer for our average daily temperature. We definitely saw a much milder summer this year than we've been seeing in the previous few years. Next slide.
You're such a good meteorologist.
Should be a weather person.
Yes. You want a mic?
No, I'm kidding. So looking at our water usage, we can see our projected versus actual usage. So on here, we're looking at all of our different water supplies, and this is for North Fork Bend as a whole. So every single district, every single HOA that has a makeup well, all of their water is shown on this graph. The dark blue color is showing us our actual surface water usage. The light blue color is actual groundwater usage. And then the smallest sliver there, our favorite sliver, is reclaimed water or reuse. And that's all of our effluent systems or stormwater capture systems that are used for irrigation throughout the area and how much water they're using. I'm going to put a little plug here. If you do not have a reclaimed water system in your district, and that's something you're interested in, we are here to help. Please reach out to Whitney, reach out to me, reach out to Matt. We're happy to help you out and figure out how you can make that a reality for your system. Back to the data, looking at this, the black line there is showing us our actual what we would have expected water usage to be for that month based on historical trends for North Fort Bend. So you can see in August, we typically see that peak water usage period. Makes a lot of sense. It's really hot and miserable outside here. And you can see we had that springtime period where we had the lower precipitation. And you can see we had a little bit above average water usage. Those colored bar charts are going over the black line. But in the summer, because of that high precipitation we had in June, you can see that affected us pretty much the rest of the summer in a very positive way for water conservation, to where we weren't using as much water as we typically do during those months. Next slide.
People were listening or paying attention. Okay.
All right, so climate outlook here, I like to give a preview about, we know what's happened, but where are we going? Good news is summer 2026 kind of looks a lot like the projection for summer 2025 did around this time frame, and that's equal chances of either higher than normal or lower than normal precipitation for next summer, which is, probably good. It means we're probably not going to fall on those extreme ends of the scale either way. But our seasonal temperature outlook, I'll just let you know, has been hotter than normal for years now. That's just how it is. So we are looking to have a hotter than normal summer for the area. But again, that's the same way it was last year. I think. Oh, last thing, the most exciting part of this. For those of you that are data nerds and you just want a whole lot more information about subsidence, you're in luck. Subsidence District puts out an annual groundwater report where they look at subsidence rates throughout Fort Bend County, and then Harris-Galveston also looks at subsidence rates throughout Harris and Galveston counties. What they do is look at, how is our plan going? They look at this data to guide future changes to the regulations and look at areas where we need to maybe have our focus on to convert to an alternative water supply. So looking at this graph, those larger, darker red circles are representing the areas where we are having the most subsidence. And I can't remember the exact conversion off the top of my head, but greater than 2 centimeters per year. That's looking at, I think, about a foot per decade, if I'm remembering correctly. Please don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. So in the Katy area, we're looking at about a foot per decade of subsidence right now. The good news is that that area is on the conversion list. North Fort Bend does not serve water to the Katy area. That's a part of the West Harris County Regional Water Authority. But as far as the Cinco Ranch area, the Fulshire area, that is something that is on North Fort Bend's conversion radar, and that's happening within the next few years. So we're excited to get that going, and we hope we see the correction in the subsidence rates. Like you'll notice kind of further south where the water is converted to surface water, we are having those lower subsidence rates.
Thank you, Julia.
You are welcome.
All right. And now I will move into the meat of that. Well, that was actually the meat, but that's the math stuff. I'm going to talk about the educational fun stuff, why you're all here today. So just to give you an overview, if this is your first time here or if this is your 5th time hearing this, I apologize, about the North Fort Bend Water Provider Conservation Program and conservation and how we got here. As I stated earlier, the North Fort Bend was created in 2005. Right away, our board knew that public outreach and educating people about subsidence and conservation was very important. So public outreach started right away, started getting to the schools. You've all heard about our mobile learning lab. In 2011, we started the residential irrigation system evaluations, the WISE guys. And shortly thereafter, introduced our mascot, who has currently undergone a on a
Makeover.
a makeover.
Yes.
Larry the Talking Sprinkler. And then our board all realized that we needed to incentivize our direct customers, our GRP participants more. And that's how we created the Larry's Toolbox Water Conservation Program. And it was revamped just in 2022 to be called this, so it was a little bit more clear on what we're doing. So now it's called the Water Provider Conservation Program. Just a couple of other conservation initiatives the North Fort Bend takes. It works into your program as well, and just things that we cheerlead is what Julia mentioned earlier, the alternative water program. That's our reclaimed or reuse water program. If you live in our boundary, you can subscribe to the Water My Yard app. It'll give you a weekly watering recommendation based on your specific house recommendations. And then a lot of you participate in our residential rebate program. The goals of the program remain the same this year as last. Our intent was to hopefully increase board of directors, city council member involvement. I think that's how I got most of you here today, so thank you for coming. Increase water saving potential, and to increase community awareness. The core initiatives of our program, this is for you to even be into consideration of being successful in this program, is you have to join a water conservation committee, which you are all on. You have to administer high water user notifications, and directors need to be involved in what that threshold is that you set on what you decide who gets those letters. And then you also have to disseminate your conservation information to all of to your community via multiple routes. So that is the core to be able to be considered in the program. On top of that, you have the a la carte. You can do one of our smaller initiatives of the pick 3, or you could pick one. And then I like to remind people, this is your program. This is not ours. We started this in 2016 and had all this toolbox and ideas of things that you could do. And back then we sort of handled what made you successful, but it was the board's intention after so many years, like we sort of shown y'all these different initiatives and stuff. And so we've handed it over to y'all. We would like you to decide how you want to be conservation minded in your district. So some of these don't work for you, so you can mix and match. We just want to communicate with you on what's best for your district, because we want you to own your own program, and we're here to help you technical or in person as needed. We do have a toolkit for y'all when you're out in the public. This is on our website for providers. It's talking points, because we are very aware that you're getting a lot of questions all the time. And what is that NFBWA fee on my bill? So just share this to let you know that there are resources on our website to help you all. The same goes for operators. If you're listening, and I think most of you do use these, we have website copy. It's like specific language you can use. And then what we're doing is explaining to the user, the basic information, but then we're also leading them over to our homepage so they can find more if they need to. We understand you'll get a lot of calls about a lot of things every day. So we want to try to give you as much information about us as we can to help you. We also offer that digital content. So if you're posting anything, we have content you can use, and this is all in our Dropbox. We have information you can put on our infrastructure projects as well. And in that Dropbox, we have digital content for the wise guys and for the rebates, which you can also get those physical bill inserts for as well.
And if I can interject,
Please.
here. Yeah, so all of this content is available to you to use as you want to.
Yes.
If you can put it on your website, if you have social media, you can use it on your social media. If you have an HOA newsletter, you can put this in your HOA newsletter. So it's whatever works for your community. That's what it's here for. Feel free to get creative with it.
Thank you. And it's already formatted and sized for different avenues. So like on top where I say digital content, it's like they already saved it as a, I don't speak this
Whatever it
language,
needs to be saved as.
JPEG, I don't know, or size the right pixels and stuff.
Yes.
And so if you're looking at the bill inserts on the Dropbox, there it says physical bill inserts. Those are already cropped and with bleed or without bleed marks on there for you. via PDF. Again, yeah, the bill inserts, we offer those to you. If you need more for your residents, just let us know. The board is generally happy to help purchase those for you. And then the rebates and the Wise Guys. And this is something we came out with last year, which we really like, and we hope you're all using. If not, please do. Again, it's that number one question: what's on your bill? Why is there an FBWA fee on my bill? And we thankfully worked with an operator, and so we got sort of an illustration of what a common bill looks like. And then we added that NFPWA fee, and so we break it out for you. And then we also explain where our fee goes and what it provides. So just another tool to help you all as you go. Again, I think I already referenced this. This is just talking points when you're out in the public. We have those on the Dropbox. And then again, like I said, you're always welcome to point them towards us. We just want to give you basic answers until we get to that point. And we do hope that you follow us on all of our avenues. We have our LinkedIn, our Instagram, our Facebook, and then our website. The one update I want to share with you this year is our beautiful mobile learning lab. It's a she now. I just decided in this moment. She has gone away she's getting a renovation. So she's doing a very large renovation, and we're really, really, really excited to show this to you in 2026. It is our hopes to have her back in our arms by February, and we can start bringing her to events in March of 2026. Until then, if you do have requests on public outreach, we're still happy to come. We have a lot booked for this month, but we'll see what we can do, or we can send you some materials to hand out. And that is really the whole spiel. If you're here and you have questions for me on specifics about the Water Provider Conservation Program, please let's get together one-on-one if you're new. But what I want to take this time to do, since we have a whole plethora of directors from the community around together, I thought it would be a good idea to talk about AMI. I see a lot of people installing smart meters. So I see districts providing smart meters. And then I'm wondering if the user is actually understanding and taking action of the capabilities of what that outreach portal can offer. And so my hope right now is I've asked operators if they wanted to tell me a little bit about their communication plans and how they try to get customers to sign up, and if you have any goals. So Lindsay DeLong with Infomark has offered to talk for a couple minutes. Lindsay, if you're there, so I'm hoping you can sort of talk to us for a little bit, and then if we have any other operators who have anything else to share, they're welcome to. But I just want to hope, in my head, the hope is a group discussion, like everyone wants to participate, which is going to happen, and talk about like, oh, that's a great idea. Oh, we should do that, because I'm hoping for collaboration, but we'll see. Lindsay, are you there?
I am.
Hey, go for it. Oh, and you just, I'll click when you're ready.
Okay. I'm ready. So, hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lindsay DeLong, and I am with Infomark as an account manager. So, the challenges, why customer engagement really matters. So, customer engagement matters on a multitude of reasons, and these can be to help identify water demands, and also on the public side, the aging of the infrastructure. It also allows systems accountability from high water loss, from undetected leaks to be identified within the customer's tower. And lastly, if customers are not engaged, then they are very limited on their own visibility into their own usage. And a fun statistic with the EPA is about 10% of your homes within your systems will have leaks, and you're wasting about 90 plus gallons a day. We can go to the next slide. Okay, so introducing Ion Water. Well, what is Ion Water? Ion Water is a software that is available on a web-based portal and also a mobile app, and it allows for real-time water usage and leak alerts. Next. The benefits for residents and empowering customers to save water and money. So how do we get them to do this? Well, not only can residents monitor their hourly, daily, and their monthly consumptions, they're actually able to set customizable alerts while comparing their consumptions. And again, they have this capability, which we'll see on a later slide, to where you can monitor and compare that daily, hourly, and monthly. Getting started. So how do residents sign up? You can keep clicking. So step one is you can either go on ionwater.com, and that is the actual link, or you can pull up your app store and type in Ion Water, and that's as easy as that. For their actual registration of their service account, it's simply just finding their account number on their water bill and including their service billing zip code. And you can keep clicking. And then also on the app, it's the same data, and the prompts just automatically pop up. So it's very straightforward for all of your residents and your customers. Okay. So creating the alert is typically why you want your customers to set up an account, to monitor any type of usage and their consumption. So this is easy just by setting up and going through their leak alerts prompts. So leaks. What is it defined when the software is seeing a leak? Well, when flowing meter is detected for an hour over a 24-hour time span, that is what Ion Water considers a leak. Now, the system cannot identify or differentiate between somebody leaving a pull fill on or a water hose or anything like that. So it definitely gives the customer a power to see, oh, I remember doing this, or no, I didn't do that. And so it allows another type of threshold that can be set. So what is a threshold, and what is your recommended threshold, as they call it? It would be 1 to 5 gallons per hour. And this will allow them to detect the more common leaks in the household. So like your toilet flaps, your dripping faucets, or if there's a broken sprinkler head. Okay. And again, setting the leak alerts is just simple and easy, and it walks you through all the prompts for each one of these identifications. Okay, so resident insight, empowering customers into the future. So what does this look like? What does this mean to them? So at a glance, you have the highlights of the percentages with the increase and decrease of their usage over the prior weeks. And you can also see the conservation where you can track. So this is where I had mentioned earlier the comparison. So your meter also shows that it's how frequently it's read, as well as the actual meter read, and then the next time it's going to read and pick up on that endpoint. The consumption graphs. So these two graphs are your typical graphs that they are going to be able to drill into. This allows them to see their hourly, daily, weeks, months, and even a total consumption over the year. And on the right, that is the comparison. So you will see the green is your previous, and then the dark blue is going to be their current. Promoting the app and engaging the residents. So this is probably the most important part of the app, because if you're not engaging your residents, then they don't know what's happening. So there's two different types that you can really do it, and that's through your billing inserts, social media, website banners. To the right, we have an example of one of our billing inserts that we use at Infomark to engage the customer that actually have paper bills. And then we have a live QR code. So if you take out your phone right now and take a picture of the QR code, it will actually take you to Badger's website. And then it will walk you through how to set up your accounts and everything. So these are really simple. And I think with AI now, it even makes it a lot easier because you can create these QR codes. But also taking every opportunity to expand your reach, not only through these typical outreach, but using HOA events. And like one that's coming up in October is National Night Out. Making sure that you're reaching out to those additional entities that may be working within your community and team up with them. So that way you can get in front of the customers and really engage and be that face to face. And I know we offer like some of our staff to come out and actually walk through and help customers set up those apps. So that's a really big key point in pushing these. So summary and key points is Ion Water improves the transparency on your system's part and the customer engagement. It will also allow the leak alerts to save customers money and also reduce the pumpage for the system. And our role is really significant in promoting the registration and customer education. And there are a couple of resources from Badger that I use to help create this presentation. So if y'all would like to look up any of those, or if you would like a copy of the presentation, then we can provide that. Whitney can. But that is all I have.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. I'm gonna go ahead, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen so I can see people on this meeting. Oh my gosh, look how many of y'all there are. We've been looking at one screen the whole time. Hi, everyone. Hey, Lindsay, thank you for giving us a little education on that. I have to remember not all districts have smart meters, and a lot of people may not know what capabilities there are for that homeowner to actually gauge what they're using. Did I have any other operators on here that wanted to unmute themselves and share anything of their experience from their communication plans of how they reach the public effective means? Lindsay, I think you answered every question in the world. I think you just summed it all up. I am saying, let's see. Hey, Mr. Pleasant. Hey, Chester. Let's see. You said plans to provide funds for interconnects between districts with reclaims. It doesn't. I'm going to get to that real quick. I'll open it up to those specific questions. And then Sean Piper, is there a way to track the adoption rates of Ion Water app in your district? Lindsay, if you could, or if there's we're getting a lot of questions. Okay, we're going to open it up with questions. And NFBWA team, I saw Christina on here, Audrey, Joya, Matt, me. Let's answer some questions, y'all. Okay, do we have plans to provide funds for interconnects between districts with reclaim and those that don't? At this moment, we have no plans to interconnect with reclaimed.
I do think that that situation, kind of depending on what it looks like, would be eligible for our alternative water credit program that already exists. If you want to reach out to us about that situation and we can take a look at it and see if it's eligible, we can absolutely do that. If anyone else has a creative idea, they want to use reclaimed water, reach out to us. We're happy to look at all of them.
Yeah, anytime. Chester and I love those sustainability questions that you always bring, but yes, he's very holistic minded in thinking about that. So please keep asking, and any ideas, bring it. All right, Mr. Piper asks, is there a way to track the adoption rates of the Ion Water app in your district? The adoption rates of your fees?
The public.
Huh?
The public. And I think, Lindsay, do you want to touch on that? I'm not sure exactly where that would be located in the application.
Sure. Yeah, no, at this time, I'm not aware of any way because that is actually a MUD controlled item. So I don't see that happening because your ion water is it's a Badger product. So that comes with these smart meters from Badger.
I think though there is a way for the mud to track how many accounts have like made a login though for Ion Water. Is that what you're asking, Sean?
That would be a way to do it, yes, thanks. Answer the question. And Myrna, I see you too, shaking your head over there, so if you ever want to unmute, you're welcome to. Okay, I think we got Mr. Piper's question, and now Mr. Rosh, I thought it says, can individuals upgrade to smart meters? Or is this a mud district? Individuals cannot upgrade to their own smart meters at this house. It would have to be a district initiative. However, operators may kill me for this. There are devices out there that you may purchase that can help you track. It's sort of like a saddle strap that goes on your pipe. And operators, interrupt me if you don't want me to go down this. That can help you track your usage more in your house. And so that would be past the mud side.
Hi, Julia and Whitney. It's
Hey,
Dana.
Dana.
Speaking up.
No, yes, of course.
No, that's all right. No, it's just a couple of things. We actually did have one district where the district paid for the initial setup. They bought the Badger, the initial 10 meters that you get with during a beta test. And then they extended it to residents if they wanted to pay for that upgrade, they could, but it wasn't really beneficial for the district. That's really more beneficial to the individuals if they want to track their usage. And the contraption that you were just talking about, that's called the flume.
Right.
That goes on the meter individually. And those are a little tricky. Oh, I see someone did type that in there. Those are a little tricky just because they have to connect to that individual homeowner. It's all in the homeowner's hands. And you always have to be cautious, not that it does not be perceived as tampering with the meter too. So that's a little bit of a gray area, I think, and I don't know that I would promote those. And then my last comment's going to be the ion water is unique to just the Badger system. There is now another player in the Houston market. Mueller's actually come out with a comparable, and I'm not promoting, I don't get paid to promote or anything, but Mueller's come out with a comparable product that also has a customer portal, which they didn't in the past. I have not converted any districts to them. I'm just aware of that player. So we're not just pushing Badger meters, just so y'all know that.
Yeah, thank you for that, because I even asked Julia right before I went off, I was like, wait, is there another brand? Because for the record, it is not.
And while I have the microphone, I'm going to speak on behalf of MDS, not as a North Fort Bend director. But probably the easiest way for us to promote the customer portal, the Ion Water, is whenever we send out the high user letters. And Lindsay, you may have had this I may have missed it. I may have turned away from my computer, but that to me, when customers do call in and about their high usage, we can always direct them, and we get more signups probably from that. It's more of a reactive than a proactive way to get that word out. And that's all I have for y'all.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. And for the record, the flume program that I have been aware of in the area, that is Fort Bend Mud 146. And Mr. Roush, I know you're actually in that district. So before they did flume, it was a district initiative. So it wasn't individual homeowners going to buy flume and doing it. The district sort of started that initiative. So Myrna, you have a question?
Actually, I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on how we can try to interact with the residents to encourage them to set up Ion Water. A lot of districts utilize their resources. If they have a website or a text alert messaging, quarterly districts will send out a notification reminding people sign up for your Ion Water account with a link to the website, letting them know how they can set up the account in order to increase the number of residents. A lot of times we also when customers call in reference to they have a leak and they don't think that they have a leak at the house, customer service is trained to remind customers, you have the software, go into the software, see when it's happening, because a lot of problems we have is customers don't realize that a lot of things could be happening in the middle of the night. If they have a water softener, if they have a pool that with the heat evaporates and it automatically fills, or they have irrigations that are set up by their irrigation companies at times where they're either not home or at night. They want to go ahead and get their irrigation people out there to check their systems when it's coming on and going off, so they have a better handle and control, and to minimize the amount of time. You don't have to irrigate for a long time to be able to maintain your grass green. So those are just items that districts that I handle with Ion Water and smart meters implement in order to, put the word out there, and as well as using the HOA. A lot of them use the HOA newsletter or their messaging as well to communicate those items as well.
Thank you, Myrna. I am opening this up to any further questions or discussion that we have. So many people on
Did
there.
we answer the one about rain gauges and rain delays for rebates?
Where did I didn't see that? Oh, are sprinkler rain gauges, rain delays eligible for rebates? Yes, they are. Yes. So if you're putting a rain gauge, I don't know how a gauge would qualify for a rebate, so no, but I'm talking about, yes, if you're putting a rain sensor or soil moisture sensor on your sprinkler system, connecting that to your sprinkler, your controller, yes, that is eligible for the rebate program if your district participates in it, yes. Anybody have any questions?
I do.
Hey, Harry, how are you?
Good. I go by Russ, but that's okay.
Okay, so
Anyway, so I'm in Mud District 5. I'm a board member of Mud District 5, and we've been talking for the last 6 months about the smart meters. And we haven't really made a commitment either way. But you're saying this Ion water only works with Badger. So if we decide that we're going to commit to adding smart meters to our district, then is it your recommendation that we strongly consider Badger because of the Ion app?
I can't make a recommendation. This is not my field. I would let an operator or see, Dana, do you want to, Joy, you know different brands of meters?
Yeah, so
Sorry.
Yeah, Ion Water works with Badger or Beacon. I mean, you'll see those names. Like Dana was saying, there's also the Mueller, which is a new customer portal that operates similarly. If that's something that's important to your district, then I think that's something to consider. But as far as recommending one way or the other, it's really up to you. And, if whatever company you're considering can meet your needs, then
Okay.
I would go with whichever one meets your needs and is in your budget.
All right. Thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions or comments? Well, everyone, I won't even keep you for a full hour. If no one has anyone else, I do thank you all for coming. Do you have anything else?
I don't know.
Okay.
But it's been fun. Thank you all for coming and listening to us.
Thank you for coming, Lanny. All right, thank you, everyone, and we hope
Thank
you have a
you.
great rest of your, what is today?
Thank you, Whitney.
I'm not sure.
Today's a
anymore.
day. Hope you have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.